Hey,
Hi.
you're listening to the soulful sounds of the underground here on Brothers in Arms podcast. Good evening.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
And from the crypt he rises.
He's
It's
alive.
well, sort of.
Fresh, fresh from fresh from quarantine. Um,
Oh,
you poor
Dude.
guy.
hey,
Your whole
everybody.
your whole family. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Let's get through the
Yes.
intro real quick. Hello, everybody. This is episode 93 of Brothers in Arms podcast. We're so glad that you could join us for this episode. We are your brothers from the same mother and father, Patrick, Greg, and Alex. And so glad that you're here. Glad you could join us. Yes, we are lamenting with our littlest brother because poor boy's had the COVID. Actually, he's still it's still hanging on.
It's torn through the whole family.
And it's not just him, it's his lovely wife and their beautiful 2-year-old daughter. God bless you, man. Like, ugh.
It's been a fun week.
How do you survive? I mean, I know you've been on the boat for like days, a whole week,
Yeah, a whole week.
but I mean, we kind of have to keep your talking to a minimum, man, because I don't know how long you can last.
I just gotta take time to breathe. That's about it.
Yeah, breathing is
Uh,
important. Ladies and gentlemen, breathing is a fact of life. Please don't take it for granted.
if you didn't know, if you stop breathing, you die.
You die. Yeah. Oh man. So let's just get into it. What's going on, fellas? I mean, obviously with Alex, we'll get to you in a minute, buddy. Okay, just
Thanks.
rest, take a breather, take a drink. Greg, what's going on, man?
Oh, it's been an interesting week. I would have been on a fun boat, not a military boat, in the Caribbean right now, but I'm not. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So I learned this week that, well, started kind of last week, but I basically figured out that my command is very particular about going overseas, even if you're on a cruise ship.
Aw, the
And
love boat.
oh yes, the fun boat.
The
The fun boat.
the fun boat.
The fun
Hey,
boat.
key change.
Hey, key change. Um, so la to keep it straightforward without getting into too much detail, they just they basically came out after the fact. I didn't. I had thought I'd done everything right. I'd notified the correct people ahead of time to let them know so that they could essentially copy and paste my name into a Word document and print it out so that the commanding officer could sign off on it and say, yeah, he's fine. Like, he's just going on a boat. It's not like I'm going to be spending time in
Oh,
another country. Yep, I was going to be on a boat. Um,
sorry.
but it you know, I have discovered, I found out today, I learned, the more you know, that they have to have a certain amount of time, and it was
Oh,
not anywhere close. So I'm not going this month. I
so
will be
3 months
going,
out, right?
yes,
Sweet.
essentially. So you'll be attending, well, depending on what time in April. I know we were talking before the start, but
Right, right.
it'll be
23rd.
so I'll still be here.
Okay,
It'll be the end of April,
nice.
beginning of May. But gonna go visit a few Southern Caribbean countries and
Islands. He's an
enjoy.
island boy.
I'm going to be an island boy. I'm going to. It's actually fun. We're going to Aruba,
Schellenberger.
Curacao, and Bonaire, and I've never been to any of them. And I have come to understand that that part of the world, I really like the water down there.
It's blue, like
It's it's blue.
emerald blue.
It's blue.
Yeah,
It's not Greek water blue, but
it's blue.
it's pretty blue. Um, and it's really pretty. Actually, I was going through and looking at some videos that I had recorded um from the last time I went, which was right before COVID. And yeah, wow. I'm I'm ready to go back. I miss it. But
Oh,
made the best of it. I ended up taking took a I like obviously I had to change my leave, but I went ahead and said, well, since I'm not going out of country, I'm still taking Thursday and Friday off.
good for you.
I'm going to have a long weekend. I don't care. I want to spend some time at home, take care of some personal business at the house,
Sure.
get some things done. Actually, I made some beer can chicken tonight. Um,
Some bacon,
some beer can chicken,
some bacon chicken.
beacon chicken. Watched Gentlemen, have you guys been watching the Olympics? You know the Winter Olympics are going on right now, right?
I didn't
Correct.
have a TV.
Alex didn't have a TV. You didn't even
I
get your oh, what is the name of that military oh gosh, don't you guys get that on the boat?
I didn't have a TV.
Oh yeah, that's right. But you did something else and I can't wait to hear about it. Um
Yeah.
but we been watching the Olympics. I love curling.
we know.
I it's one of
We know.
we've talked about this before. I went to the curling club when I was in Utica when I was still on recruiting duty. I got a chance to do that for my birthday.
About the only Olympic sport that involves beer.
Well, no, I'm sure they drink in the other Olympic sports too, but it's such a fascinating game. It's actually been described. I was listening to one of the talking heads, and they described it as chess on ice. And honestly, that's the best way to explain it to someone. It's
I don't know. When I move my piece to L5, it's not going to slide off the board.
Yeah, but you also have to plan ahead. Yeah.
Sure.
Alex
Which
is
There's no
playing the game.
L.
I know. I was just waiting. uh,
But but no, it's honestly it's a lot of fun.
uh,
It's fun to watch. So been watched that, watched the snowboarding. Actually I turned on today, watched a little bit of the if you guys have ever watched luge, uh single man luge, there's something insane about watching individuals
luge
shoot down an icy track at 80 miles an hour on
sled.
a little tiny sled.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's nuts.
The
It's
wipeouts are
absolutely
amazing.
oh gosh, and
Bless
scary.
them. Yeah, and Jamaica has a team again this year. My wife
Yes,
told me
they
that.
do. They have both a men's and women's four-man bobsled team
Let's
competing
go,
in the Olympics this year.
Jamaica. Come on.
So I don't remember when the four-man starts. I think they've just finished up the single
Okay.
for luge, and then I don't know if skeleton goes next, and then they start doing the two-man and then the four-man bobsled.
Now, skeleton where he rides on his back or where he rides on his face?
Luge is on the back, skeleton is on the face.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, skeleton's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary enough watching those guys bomb down that track, but going head first,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, I too want to shoot down a icy track like and my face is only this high off of the ice.
Uh-huh. And you're just
Face
bouncing around the whole
face first.
time.
Just like hands by the side, they're watching and it's just like and it's all like I can't remember. I know for luge they control the sled with their feet and their hands because they've got these little things on the front of the sled which when they push their feet against them it uh moves the skates moves the to kind of tweak so that's how they stay on their line as they're going down
Right.
the track with skeleton I don't remember it's I know they can control it, but I don't remember what they use to actually control it. But
They
yeah,
shift their
no,
body weight.
just watching them do it is absolutely, and it's like,
This is what bothers me though. So bobsleds, they've got a break. But luge, they kind of sit up, drop their feet, and they lift their sled up to stop. what's the skeleton guys do?
I think they put their feet into the like.
Toe spikes.
Yeah,
Toe spikes.
they drop their feet against the ice to slow themselves down.
That I'm sorry. There's too much rule for errors there.
There's also like at the I didn't realize this, like once they pass the finish, so they come down that final drop into the finish,
Uh-huh.
and obviously they're slowing themselves down, but the track actually goes up a little bit in the at the end.
Uh-huh.
So as they're coming to a stop, because like one guy like stopped, he got himself stopped, and then he's sitting up and his sled
Started going
he
backwards.
slid back down to like the little like
Aw.
disembark area, which was kind of cool.
I just God bless him. I can't imagine.
But
That's some crazy stuff.
did that. Last night was over at Sasa and Sean's. There's some friends that we made. He's the Navy cat. I think I've told Alex about that. And hung out at their house and sang karaoke because we didn't want to go out, but we wanted to. Yeah, we sang karaoke at the house of four adults singing karaoke in the kitchen. I actually I made Texas caviar,
Hey, nice job.
and it was bomb. It went over really, really well.
So was this the party that you were supposed to bring a dip?
Yes, yeah. So
Yes. Got it.
we did dips, and then
Did
hung
you
out, and
red onion?
I did.
So red onion, diced bell pepper,
Tomatoes,
avocado,
avocado.
tomato,
Yep,
and Italian dressing.
yep.
And
Pinch of
sugar.
sugar or no sugar?
I ended up doing. I cut Grandma's recipe in half for the sugar. I didn't put the whole half cup. I did a quarter cup, and I felt like that turned out really well. The one thing I would do differently, I'd like to do some fresh jalapeno in it next time.
I'd put Rotel in it.
Rotel?
I would put Rotel in it. See how that jazzes that up. That would be cool. I mean, if you
Rotel.
want to go the fresh route, absolutely. Do some diced jalapeno, but man, that would make that just quick.
I'd put some habaneros in it.
Habaneros.
Or if I can get my hand on some reapers. Yeah.
No, I don't want to melt people's faces off there, boyo.
Yeah, that's deadly.
I just want a little bit more of a kick. I think a little bit of fresh jalapeno chopped into that.
There goes the reaper.
So I threw a little bit of so I've got that Thai chili, and I
Bam!
I bammed it. Threw,
Bam!
tossed a little bit of that in it, but I don't think it was enough because it didn't really come through.
Oh,
So it's again first time I've ever made it myself. I was
let's go,
happy with
man.
it. It tasted good, but just need to do a little more work.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
But
Cool. Alex, what about you, buddy? I know you had some wonderful escapades on the ship.
So a week ago, I went in. It was a duty day, which is why we didn't record on Sunday. We recorded on Saturday instead.
mm-hmm.
And I woke up Sunday morning with a little bit of a sore throat, a little bit of a sinus issue going on. So I went to work. While I was at work, I got about halfway through the day, and I was like, I need to get like a cold pack or something. I need to go in and talk to medical, see if they can give me like Sudafed, Motrin, a couple other things. Just get me through the rest of the day. And while I was in there, they're like going through everything, and they said, okay, yeah, so the major question is, do you want to get tested for COVID? And I said, no.
I don't wanna.
No. I literally like I got body aches because I've been coughing. I need some cough syrup. I need some Sudafed, maybe some Mucinex. and throw me some Motrin. I'll be on my way." And they said, "All right. Well, if it gets worse, come back." So I made it until about dinner time, and the body aches got a lot worse. And I was like, yeah. So I went back in, and they're like, "All right, we're going to test you. Fellas, have y'all gotten tested for COVID yet?"
Yep.
Multiple times.
Yep.
It's not fun.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Nope.
that's a Q-tip from hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there you go. Patrick, you hit it right on the head. It is
No, it goes in
horrible.
So they just do one nostril, right?
Yes.
Depending. I've had it done in both.
Yeah,
Well then.
they did both.
They do
Double
one
barrel!
and then they do the other. Because
Yeah.
it's like, thanks, guys. That's what I was looking forward to.
One of the neat things that they have now is a rapid test. And I was sitting, in the back of medical because I'm a potential COVID case, so they kept me away.
Uh-huh.
And they do the rapid test. And Doc comes back after a minute and he looks at it and he goes, "All right, so usually when it's a positive, the rapid test will show us in about 30 seconds. So it looks fine right now. You're good." I said, "Okay." So I sat back there. They came back and they checked it and they said, "Okay, the rapid test is negative, but you show all the signs and symptoms, so we have to go ahead and they do a DNA test. They test the swab for COVID DNA in your system. So it's like a more like thorough. The rapid test can pop for all sorts of things. You can have the flu and you'll get a positive rapid test, which is why the later part of this story is going to get kind of interesting. So they're like, "Yeah, that takes about an hour. Just hang back here." And meanwhile, they're watching football up on the forward end. So I'm like, well, at least I can hear it, I guess. I don't know. So, about halfway through, the guy comes back around and he's like, "Hey, so if it's not positive, we're going to go ahead and give you SIQ so you can go back to your rack. You can sleep. You don't have anything else you have going on this evening." I said, "No, I'm through with watches. I don't have anything. It'll be good." He says, "Okay." Another dude comes back after the hour and he walks in and I hear something that sounds a lot like an expletive. And then he comes back out and he hands me the sheet that I had to fill out and he says, "Put your ROM address down on there." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, dude, you're positive."
No.
No.
So they give you this nice piece of paper that you have to sign that says, "I won't go within 6 feet of people. I'm not going to do all these other different things. I'm going to stay on my designated ROM address." And meanwhile, we're supposed to be leaving on Monday. We're supposed to be pulling out. It wasn't supposed to be a long underway. So I'm like, okay, well, this is going to suck because I'm going to be stuck somewhere on the boat, not able to do anything. I can't call anybody. I can't, email. I'm not going to have anything. So they sent me home. And I stayed away from Liz and Caroline as best as I could. I ended up going to sleep. The chills are not fun, for the record.
Oh.
Especially when they last for hours. But I end up going to the boat, and they put me up in this place that they're literally, they called it Rom Town. So it was this berthing that is literally right below the flight deck. So the end of the catapults, right at the forward end of the boat, are right above where my head is.
Yikes.
Oh.
And we all check in on Monday, and then we ended up not leaving on Monday. But they're like, "Oh, we're leaving on Tuesday, so you guys are going to stay in Rom here." So talking with everybody that was up there, Every single person that was up there with me, and there were like 18 dudes in this berthing with me, they all popped.
18 of you had COVID?
That was just the males. The females, there were like six
Oh
or
my
seven of them.
goodness, dude.
Ew.
Yeah. So, there's 18 of us up there. And every single one of them, I kid you not, all pop positive on the rapid test. All of them. Nobody got the DNA test like I did.
What?
Yeah. So
You must have had a fluke test or something, man.
I don't know. I really don't know. But nobody else was having the same symptoms that I was. They all had like flu-like symptoms. So I don't know.
Wow.
But we all get up there, and no joke, the watch is like, okay, guys, yard time is at 1900. So we'll escort you guys out 5 at a time so you can get out and get some fresh air.
Sounds like you're in prison.
Oh, dude.
They're on the prison boat.
So, MAs, Master at Arms, those are the guys that are in charge of the brig on the boat. We had a bunch of them up there because that ROM berthing, the watchstander that's in there, is an MA. And the MAs were stuck in the room with us for 12 hours at a time. So they cycled through as positive cases.
Were they in hazmat suits? I mean, seriously.
No, everyone had to have their mask on. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Love boat? Prison
Love
boat.
Yeah.
Prison boat.
So the MAs were up there and they're like, dude, the brig has it better than us up here. I'm like, why is that? The brig actually has a TV.
Oh
Man.
There was no TV.
Oh.
There was nowhere to sit. So if you wanted to sit, you had to sit on the floor or in your rack.
What?
There was one chair in there, and that was for the watchstander. And Patrick, well, neither of you guys have been on a Navy boat.
Nope.
I've not been stationed on one. I've been on one, but not stationed on one.
You don't want to sit on the floor.
No, you don't. I can understand that.
Yeah, because you got to think, all of those people that walk, those shoes, those boots, whatever they're wearing, also walk through the head. And then they come right back into there.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't want to sit on the floor.
Yikes.
So there was no form of entertainment. We got fed 3 times a day, sometimes.
Hey, look, 3 hots and a cot. It's prison!
It was the very definition of prison. You had to check out with anybody. Like, the head was in the hallway outside of our berthing, which was also, partitioned off to keep everyone else out because it was a ROM hotspot on the boat. But the amount of times that I walked out and looked at people trying to cut across to go to the other side of the boat through the big giant signs that said ROM hotspot designated personnel only.
Yikes.
And they're just like, I gotta get to the other side of the boat, so they walk across. And I met some of them as I was walking into the head, and I stopped and I looked and I was like, alright, let's think about this logically for a second. Did you guys read the sign?
Nope.
And they're like, what? One of the guys is still holding the door open and he looks at it and he goes, oh, expletive. And I was like, yeah, you guys are now within 5 feet of me because you just kept walking right on in. Do you know what I am right now? And they're like, no.
Patient 0.
I am COVID positive.
I am patient 0.
You guys are walking through the ROM designated berthing without a mask on to go from one end of the boat to the other to save time. You should turn around and walk away. And they all kind of looked at me stupidly for a second. So I just started walking towards them, and they were like,
Abandoned ship!
Ah! Get away, get away, get away!
Yeah. But my 5 days that I was stuck up there were profitable.
Profitable. Please. Elaborate.
I put about 35 hours into the new Pokemon game.
Oh, so you did have a charge port then. You had some kind of way to charge your.
Brother,
Yeah.
I'm an electrician by trade. So as soon as I
He
got up
would
in there,
he would make a charging port.
I
That's
did in
right.
fact.
He's like pulling things out of the ceiling, you know.
So I got some of my
Just gonna
guys.
plug all this together.
Hold on.
I got a rack that was next to an outlet, and I got some of my guys to bring my surge suppressor up because I have a
Nice.
ship issue one. So I plugged that in and duct taped that to the side of my rack. So I had charge ports.
None of the other guys did though.
No, the chief that was in the 6-pack with me was like, can I? I was like, it's for your CPAP, right? He's like, yeah, yeah. I said, all right, yeah, sure. Otherwise, no.
You gonna die. No, stop.
No.
Stop.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm done.
that
My
went
bad.
dark.
That
No,
went,
That
that
went
went
dark
kinda
very fast.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean it.
Oh, it's okay. He was a great dude. We had an interesting time because we became the senior people in the berthing.
Oh,
So we had the mayor of Rom Town was the operations officer. The sheriff of the Rom Town was whatever watchstander was in there.
I was about to say.
Chief became the deputy mayor. I became the Parks and Recreation Department.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alex is Parks and Rec.
I am Parks and Rec, yes.
That's
Nice.
funny.
So
Nice.
we just kind of hung out for a couple of days. If I wasn't, in my rack sleeping, I was in my rack playing Pokemon or taking a shower or, calling everybody that I knew to be like, hey, bring me some food. Because the ship food would either not show up or it would, show up hours late and it would almost be the next mealtime anyway. Or it would be like a box of cereal. So, yeah.
What?
Like we get the individual cereals and people,
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So one time they literally went and scooped all of the cereal that everybody hates off the mess decks into this box and brought it up to us. So I lived off of that for a couple of meals.
Bless you, man.
It was
Like,
fun.
Lord have mercy.
right?
Yeah.
So that's so the OPSO was on ROM as well, which is why you said,
Oh no. No, he was in charge of us.
oh.
Which is why if we needed something, we called him. And things got done pretty quickly. It was kind of nice.
Sir, fix this,
Yikes.
please.
Yeah, I did a couple of city planning jobs while I was up there. Got some things taken care of. So,
City
good.
planning.
yeah, super secret squirrel stuff.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you offline. But
Okay.
That's
All right.
funny.
we took over some renovation projects
Oh, good for you. From Rom Town.
from Rom Town.
Well, aren't you just the eager beaver overachiever?
No, I felt like I was dying every day.
Who's gonna fix it one way or the other?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Get her done, homie. Get her done.
We got AC, we got heat. Like it was great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What about you, man? What you got?
My week was it was busy and crazy and reflective. Definitely had some moments of like just internal reflection of, what's going on and what needs to be done and I'm not talking work related. I'm just talking like my own personal life and my own heart. And so that was real and refreshing and also kind of difficult, but any kind of internal reflection is always going to be difficult. It
Yeah,
just
it is.
it is what it is. So um but I got to drive the snowplow again a couple of days. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys actually got some snow.
No, sir, we had an ice storm.
Oh,
Yes, sir. And then another inch and a half of snow on top of that, and then a few days later, another 2 inches on top of that.
That sounds
This
exciting.
no, this has been the worst. This has been the worst snow we've had ever in my understanding of appointment or responsibility. So, in any field of responsibility I've ever had, this has been the worst snow ever.
Wow.
And yeah, and so I'm like, you know what? Uh, I mean, Greg, you were stationed in Utica. You had lake effect snow. You
Oh
had
yeah.
snow on the ground for months,
Yep.
right?
It never goes away. It started around Halloween, and we had snow basically through March.
Right. So we've had snow on the ground since Martin Luther King Day. And it hasn't gone away yet.
Hmm.
And it's getting annoying. And every time it snows, I have to go out and shovel and scrape and salt and just I'm done. I am so done with this
No
stuff.
more.
My neighbor across the street, he said, "You ever seen so much snow?" I said, "Dude, I spent 5 years in Florida." No, I haven't. So yeah, I'm done with it. I'm tired of it, but that's okay. Spring is coming. I hope. I pray. Spring is coming.
We're getting there.
That's right. But I got to preach a sermon this morning, which was always fun and reflective on my own heart. But gentlemen, my opening sermon illustration was Bert and
Bert and
Ernie.
Ernie.
Yep. Here, fishy, 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 fishy. Yes, quality. It was so much fun. So much fun. But yep, and it's all about faith and how we need to respond in faith. And I was
That's cool.
very grateful for the opportunity. And to God be the glory. It was received well. So, and then we had shoot, what did we have for lunch today? We had Firehouse subs. Firehouse
Mm,
subs. Man, that's some good expensive meat, but that's okay. Cuz it was a good sandwich. So,
I like the
oh,
Italian.
the Italian is quality. So, along with playing a bunch of Pokemon Arceus,
Arceus.
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 Um
That sounds like a word that could go bad.
it could. I got to write that down. Um I just finished watching an Amazon Prime original. Alex, do
Ooh.
you remember reading uh Jack Reacher's Killing Floor?
I do.
Uh-huh. So they did a whole eight episode series on it. And I finished it this afternoon. And let me tell you, he did a much better Reacher than Tom Cruise ever did.
Tom Cruise is too short.
He is too small. This dude was a mountain. He is a mountain. And it held true to the book pretty close. Pretty close. The only thing that I struggled with was the internal dialogue you get in the book. You didn't get it in the show. And
Hmm.
so when he started spouting off stuff of just like this is how it is, this is what I see, this is what I experience, da 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 da. I'm sitting here going, I know what he's thinking because I've read the book and I know what was, this line of thought and all that jazz, but it gets lost in the show. So
That's too bad.
if you didn't read the book, enjoy it for what it is. But honestly, the book was better. It always is better. But
99% of the time.
this was a good inclusion to the book. So there you go. Ta-da!
So,
I'll give it a thumbs up.
Killing Floor was the one where he was trying to get that lady's brother.
No,
No, different
Margrave. No, this is the first one. First one of the series. First introduction we have of him and his brother Joe.
one. Is that the one with Gunny in it or no?
No. No, Roscoe.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Margrave, Georgia, and back and forth to Atlanta and all that jazz. I
Yeah.
mean, we like that stuff, folks, because Atlanta's a part of our history and our home. And so when we hear about these things, like they kept saying things. One of the lines that really stuck in my head, um, it's as natural as Coca-Cola and peanuts. So it just that kind of idea and mentality of Georgia. Um, it was fun. It was a fun show. It was fun to remember a book that I read probably 6, 7 years ago, maybe that long, maybe 5 years ago. But and it's Childs, Lee Childs, Killing Floor with Jack Reacher, and it was good. I enjoyed it. Again, I'd give it a thumbs up. Um, so there you go. Yeah, ta-da. But I digress, and I went somewhere else. I've also with Philip have been playing a few games. We got back into Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops, and I've been playing that together. And also, of all games, Destiny 2. So, yeah, you both are Alex, your look especially.
You know
We're
that
playing
was
on
my
PC.
game, right?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Destiny 2?
Destiny 2.
Oh man, I'm loving it. Like we're finally to the city, so we've gotten through all that fun stuff. Um this is my first ever playthrough of it, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm playing a warlock, which, ladies and gentlemen, it's not as creepy as it sounds.
No,
It's their job to keep the team alive, so they they do things to put things on the floor that help keep their teammates alive.
depending on
While
your class, yeah.
while the rest of them go pew, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a fun thing. Now, Destiny 2 is one of those pay to win kind of deals, or at least pay to get the best of the best, and
Yeah.
I'm not about that. I'm okay with the grind, but we haven't gotten on it in probably about a week. But yeah, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Black Ops, and lots of Pokemon Arceus. So
Warlocks also have the best grenades.
yeah, yeah, where they
Hmm.
kind of do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really have. I've just gotten into it. I've probably got about 3 hours of playtime in it, and it's fun. It's a fun little game. And for it being free on a platform of Steam, yeah, you can't beat that. So,
So that means you guys didn't buy the, what, Forsaken Light?
no,
Whatever it was.
no,
Yeah, I didn't either.
no.
So wait a minute. So it's on Steam?
It's on
It's on
Steam
Steam. Yep,
and it's free.
free to download.
Interesting.
Yep. And the joining the team up options are a little bit they're new to me, but it wasn't that hard to figure out and uh and make it work. And then we just talk over Discord and play through the game. So it's fun.
You can do fire teams of 3, or you can do raid teams of 6.
Nice.
So if you had a third, you can join up. You guys could run crucibles to get gear, which is a great way to do it. It's PvP.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
Well, he's running a hunter and I'm running a warlock, so we would just need a tank or another hunter, I guess.
yeah, either one's fine. So I have one of each.
Sweet. Well, maybe when you get back, we can jam.
Yeah, I got duty tomorrow, but
Ah,
I can give it a shot on Tuesday.
well, young man's getting his wisdom teeth out tomorrow.
Wow.
Ooh, that's always a
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No, I don't wish that one upon anybody.
I
Mom
hated
just said, "Don't tell him don't use a straw." I said, "Yes, ma'am, no problem." No dry sockets in this household. No, I'll
Oh, please,
pray
please
that
no.
away in Jesus' name.
Hey man, no, that's the worst part. I had oh gosh, just thinking about it, it was such a horrible experience.
I somehow, by the grace of God, I had all four of mine out at the same time and didn't get a dry socket. Dad talks about it and his put him out. You talk about it and yours were awful. Alex, did you have dry socket?
I did not, but
So high five, buddy, you and me.
So I
I
didn't get dry socket. I got an infection.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, no.
oh
So
good.
so my bottom two were removed in boot camp. Don't ever wish that upon anybody.
What?
Yeah, it's there's a whole story there. The doctors like to so most of the medical, especially the dental officers that are assigned that go to Paris Island and MCRD San Diego for the Navy,
Sure.
most of them are fresh out of uh they're fresh out of dental school. Like they just got their degree.
Right.
And the beauty of being at Paris Island is you have all these brand new kids showing up that
You have a
most of them
fresh
still
crop.
they all have their wisdom teeth. So what do? Hey, you're going to get your wisdom teeth removed while you're in recruit training
This
because
sounds awesome.
like I need the practice. That's essentially what it boils down to.
Yep. Here,
Um
guinea pig. Here, guinea pig. Here, pig,
Yay.
pig, 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 pig.
Yay. Um but no, so I got my bottom two removed in boot camp and then that was fun. And then it wasn't until I got stationed in Miramar, and I'll never forget it. I got to Miramar and I was checking in that first week, and I went over to dental to drop off my records. And the doctor, you get seen for they do a quick checkup on you, like, hey, you're just here, like, take 5 minutes, look at you, and just, well, that was weird. Um, just make sure everything's good.
Right.
And he took one look at it, and he's like, oh, you got your top two wisdom teeth. He's like, those need to come out. So they scheduled me and brought me in for surgery, and the doctor like went ham to pull the top two out. And when he did, he literally the space between my sinus cavity and my mouth, it tore that space in there between the inside of your mouth and your sinus cavity is really thin. So it tore it open, and then it
Oh,
got infected, and it literally hurt to walk. Like that's how I knew it was bad. As
wow.
my foot hit the ground, my feet hit the ground, I could feel it in my face. So suffice to say, uh, that that was that was awful,
Yeah, no thanks.
and never again.
Well,
So
unless you grow more, you won't have them again.
yeah, exactly. Nope, I'm good. And
Oh,
they just
man.
did local anesthesia. They gave me a couple shots and then went to town. So
Well, you're a Marine. You can handle it.
yay!
Yay!
No,
as as Alex gets mauled.
no, that was not pleasant. So
Oh,
yeah, so I don't wish that one upon anybody.
I got you.
So that was
So,
fun.
Alex, you have the question for today, didn't you?
I do.
He does. Hooray!
So, real quick plug if you guys are not, um, anyone who's listening, and you watch us regularly, you should seriously jump in the chat. Because Liz is in there and she's been, firing off stuff this entire time. And it's been making me laugh because, I read the chat. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you should definitely jump in the chat if you're with us. But um, she wanted me to tell you, Patrick, to make sure
Yes.
that after you guys pick up Philip tomorrow,
Yes.
take video.
Take video. Aye.
Yeah. Some of the people who wake up after anesthesia from getting their wisdom teeth taken out, they say the funniest things. So he'll enjoy that.
Noted.
You'll enjoy that later. I don't know.
Oh,
one of the two.
absolutely.
So, my brush with COVID this week, gentlemen, had me thinking a couple of different things. And one of the big things that happened I guess that didn't happen, that most people, who experienced COVID got was the loss of taste and smell.
Mm.
Thankfully, I still have all of mine, so I haven't really had to deal with that. But that got me thinking. And for the two of you guys, for this week's question, it's going to be kind of a short one. I'm sorry, because we're running a little bit low on time. But out of the five senses that you guys have, which one do you think you could live without, and why?
Touch. I could do without touch because I use my sense of smell, taste, seeing, hearing, all of that. But how how involved is my touch? Eh, on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 7. Whereas everything else is rocking 9s and 10s all day long. So if I had to give up one, if I had to give up like pain receptors or anything along those lines, I think I could give up my sense of touch. Now, being able to feel the table and my beard and anything else, yeah, that might be a struggle. But I think that would be the easiest one for me to give up.
Okay.
See, hear, taste, smell, touch.
Oh, but Liz, I could still physically hug. I just wouldn't necessarily feel it.
See, I couldn't do that.
I mean, there's still the presence of like there's still the and
I'd go nuts. No, I get where you're coming from. Mine would have to be. I'd have to. It has to be one for me. It's be one or the other. It would either be taste or smell. Smell would probably be more than anything else. If I couldn't smell, so long as I could still taste. Because for me, like the feeling of touch, being able to be touched by other people, like getting hugs, like
I'm not saying I
I
couldn't physically
uh
like reach out and touch somebody. I just wouldn't feel the sensation of the touch.
and I
That's
got
the
you. I got
yeah.
you, PT. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm on the
Like
same page. I
I'm not a
don't
bird.
right.
I just ah
That's a hard question.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very yeah, no, I hate if I had to give up one and I'd probably give up smell. Because I
mhm.
could still taste things. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to smell things cooking. I wouldn't be able to, you know, smell full, how I love the way it smells outside in like when you get out into the middle of nowhere, you're in the country, and the way that the air smells different. Um, Cold air in the fall, the first time you get into the woods and it's quiet and there's no one else around and all you can hear is the wind pushing through the trees, and the air smells cold and it smells clean.
But see, that's another thing. I go
You know.
outside, I'm not freezing because I don't feel it.
There we go.
Then hypothermia sets in, and you're like, "Man, I feel so lethargic. This is weird."
I'd be prancing around in just my skivvies.
That we need on video.
I would just go and just like swan dive into the snowbanks and roll around and be like, woo! And get back up and just keep on going.
Do
Come
we
on.
still have that face. Remember when you came up to visit me in
Yes.
New York? We still do.
Yes.
Do we have a video of that?
I think it might be on Facebook.
Okay,
I'll
I'll
find
have
it.
to go. I'll go. Yeah, I just thought of that.
Yeah.
What about
Alex,
you, Alex?
what would you give
What would
up,
you give up?
Alex?
I'd probably give up taste.
I couldn't do it.
That's hard.
I couldn't do it.
I can't go without seeing. I'm already going deaf anyway, so I can't give that up. I couldn't give up touch. I just can't. And it was with Greg, it was between the two, right? But one of the great things about us Richmonds is that nasal prowess. You know, we can smell things a mile away.
Yep.
I don't have it as well.
Oh, I do.
I can tell how something is gonna taste when I'm cooking, based on smelling the spices that I put in it.
Mm.
Liz, for some reason, just goes, that's weirder and I'll get out, because I'll walk into the spice cabinet and I'll just pull stuff and, no, not that. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. And I'll go through that for every meal.
Mm.
And I don't know. I think it tastes good.
It works, man.
So,
Absolutely.
Plus, I agree with Liz as well. I've been eating boat food for a long time. So if I could just eat that and not taste it, that'd be great. Yeah.
What an interesting question, Wow.
Yeah, I like
good
it.
one.
I like it a lot. That's good. So I had a dad joke. Yep, dropped my pen. That wasn't the joke.
Pig.
Drop a pig.
Here, pig.
Here, pig.
I was really struggling to get my wife's attention. So I sat down on the sofa and looked comfortable. That did the trick. Wah, wah.
How many apples grow on a tree?
All of them?
All of them.
Hey, high five.
High five.
My therapist said that my narcissism causes me to misread social situations. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was hitting on me. Okay, I thought it was funny. Fine, don't laugh, jerks.
If I laugh, I cough.
Yeah, good point.
So, my wife dresses to kill.
Okay.
She cooks the same way.
I just found out that "arg" isn't a real word. I can't tell you how angry I am.
So last night, me and my wife watched 3 movies back to back. Luckily, I was the one facing the TV.
A policeman spotted an elderly lady driving while knitting. Pull over, he said. No, it's a scarf.
An invisible man married an invisible woman. And the kids were nothing to look at either.
Apparently 30% of owners let their pets sleep in their bed. I tried it and my goldfish died. Hey,
that's a good one.
This one's for you, Alex. Which is faster, hot or cold? Hot, because you can catch a cold.
Kid, can you put my shoes on? No, I don't think they'll fit me.
An armed man ran into a real estate agency and shouted, "Nobody move!" Wow. That does not compute, Alex.
Oh no, I'm good.
Heard this one before. So my email password was hacked again.
Yeah.
That's the 3rd time I've had to rename the cat.
A pair of jumper cables walks into a bar. Bartender says, "You can stay, but don't start anything."
Uh,
And it doesn't matter if you're tall, short, fat, thin, rich, poor. At the end of the day, it's night.
That's true.
Sorry.
What lies at the bottom of an ocean and twitches?
I don't know.
A nervous wreck.
Oh. And what do you call someone who refuses to fart in public?
private tutor.
A private tutor.
Oh,
One more, G.
What
What do you got?
Greg?
this one's kind of macabre, but it's funny. Regular naps prevent old age, especially
Really?
if you take them while driving.
Old Celestine.
Man,
There it is.
we come full circle.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come full circle. Thank you for joining us on Brothers in Arms podcast. We truly, truly appreciate you joining us. We hope that you found some enjoyment in our conversation tonight. We do this for ourselves, and we're just so happy that you are able to come along and join us. You can join us live on twitch.tv/Brothers in Arms podcast. You can also find out when we're going live because it is kind of a mixed bag right now as to when and where and at what time. And the frequency is always the same, twitch.tv/Brothers in Arms podcast. But you can find out when we're going live if you follow our Twitter at yourBIA podcast. You can also find these episodes on our YouTube channel at Brothers in Arms podcast. That's all one word. And for those who might have listened to or watched last week's episode, comment on that video if you would please. How many times you heard a duck? Thank you. That would be amazing.
We need this. It's for science.
It is for science. Absolutely, it is for science. So,
How many times did you hear a duck?
how well I was editing, and I'm not giving it away. So, this is kind of a fun thing. So, I'm saying it in this episode for last week's episode. So, you kind of have to listen to both in order to make the proper comment. Here's the fun thing: if you do that, I will send you something. I will print you something with my 3D printer upstairs, and I will send it to you,
That's
just as a thank you, just as a gift. So there you go. How many times do you hear a duck in last week's episode? That'll be episode 92.
I
Question.
just
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I'm just laughing because I just realized why you asked that question.
So first one to comment, or first one to comment on last week's video. The number of times, the correct response. I will send you something via the snail mail, something 3D printed. So there you go.
Oh man.
So, anything
John,
else? Go ahead.
John didn't know it was a family channel.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah. So, there we are, gentlemen. It's been real. Any parting remarks before we say adieu?
Oh, I will always drink water, take Motrin, change your socks. It doesn't always prevent COVID.
He's gonna change my socks.
No, you change your socks. Change your own socks. Drink
I
water,
change.
take Motrin. Change your own socks. Yes.
My
Yes.
socks. Got it.
Change your socks. Doesn't always prevent COVID, but it does help.
It does help. Glad to hear it. Alex, what do you got?
Wash your hands.
Turn the page.
uh,
Turn the page. Wash your hands.
Wash your
Yeah,
hands.
wash your hands.
That's right. And say your prayers because Jesus and germs are everywhere. Family, thank you so much for hanging out with us. My word is always check up, check in, and yeah, I'm not going to finish that last part, but definitely be with each other, spend time with each other, even if it's through a video chat. just so we can see your face, check in,
Amen.
love on each other, and spend that precious time. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Brothers in Arms podcast. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, fantastic week. Stay safe out there in that craziness, and we'll see you next time. Bye now. Love you. See ya.
I love you too.
Love you guys.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bicycle. I want to ride. I want to ride.
Bicycle.
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 He's trying to find so hard. Trying to find that key. Bicycle.
Hey, bye.
Goodbye. He
Goodbye.
might get it eventually.
I'm tone deaf.
No, dear brother, that's me.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.